What up, everybody? It's your boy Black Caesar back at it again with another episode of Ignorant Banter.
What's up, guys? This is your boy CP, and we're back at it with another one episode to be named at a different time. So, yeah. What's up, bro?
Chilling, man, chilling. December's here, winter's here. In Florida, it's only 2 days, so I'm trying to get all my winter clothes in. You know what I'm saying? Before it gets excruciatingly hot again. So yeah, man. What sucks about Florida is that all your winter clothes, you never know when you're gonna wear them. It's like one day you wake up, it's cold, and you're like, oh shit, like I gotta get this outfit in before it's too late. So yeah, that's the stage I'm in right now, bro. So happy winter, everybody.
Bro, I saw a guy with a scarf at my job.
Oh, that
recently.
nigga being extra as fuck.
I was like, yo, okay. So I mean, I had a few sweaters I pulled out. You know what I'm saying? I had a few jackets that's full up north.
You know what I'm saying? That you have to
I had a little
stun on
some
them real quick.
up.
Yeah,
Man.
For the winter.
I actually, it's like you said, we get a couple of days here of that. So when it happens, I'm like, I'm gonna bust out all the freaking sweaters, the little vests, you know what I mean?
And boots, bro.
And
like,
boots.
out of nowhere.
Because you really can't wear it anytime else in Florida. So you better take that one day that you get to stunt on these hoes, you know what I mean? So
exactly. Yo, I can't even wear a jean jacket, bro. Like sometimes I'm like, damn, you know what? This jean jacket been in the closet for too long. Let me bust it out. I step outside, I immediately start sweating, bro. I'm like, fuck that shit. So,
fucking Florida, bro.
Fucking Florida. Even me, when I was younger, I really didn't believe in global warming. Like, it used to be like the early 2000s, and I'd read about global warming. And I'm like, you know what? 2020, that's really far away. I don't really give a fuck about that right now. I'm not gonna fucking recycle. Fuck that shit. But now, like, that shit is here. Like, global warming is here. It's now.
But let me ask you, like, what in your daily life that you see that tells you that it's here?
The fact that winter shortened down to like from a month to a day in Florida.
Bro, it's always been that way, hasn't it?
Nah, bro, nah. It's around Halloween, it starts getting cool. It doesn't get cold, but it starts getting cool. And then around December, the whole month it will be cold. But now it's like a couple days here and there. It'll get hot, then it get cold, then it get hot again. This ain't normal, bro. This ain't right.
I guess I don't know. I guess I don't really remember like when it used to get cold, like around October time frame. You know what I mean? Or all of December. So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, and all these hurricanes back to back. Last year, nah, man, there's something ain't right. And that's the thing too with global warming. I feel like it's gradually. Like it happens so slow. You don't know that it's happening.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Cause like you expect something to happen like super big. You know what I mean? But it's happening so slow that you really can't tell. You can't see it as a regular person, and so you really can't fathom what's happening,
right.
And then 2020 comes around, and whenever it's like, oh shit, like nigga, we're about to
we about to burn, nigga.
But burn, nigga. It's like, oh shit, but on a daily basis, you can't. To me, I feel like it's always been this way, but obviously it hasn't been this way. But I can't really tell the difference because it's such a smaller scale from me as a regular person. But if you look at the trend, I guess it kind of makes sense that things are getting kind of crazy recently.
Yeah, I need a graph, bro. I feel like if I saw that shit on a graph, like if it was in a study, I would believe it. But I think I saw somewhere that, I think it was Trump or somebody that cut the research on global warming. So yeah, if there's no facts about it, and then it's not big enough for people to catch it with the naked eye, bro. That shit is dangerous. So yeah,
but
fuck global warming.
Why now? Like. It's so. I mean, like, why things happening in 2018, bro? Like, you would have thought that it could have. You know what I'm saying? For how many time, for how long the Earth's been around, you would have thought it would have been happening like, much earlier. You know what I mean?
Nah, it makes sense that it would start happening now because the Industrial Revolution, when like things before, like everything was more natural, bro. Like everything was more agricultural. Cars are pretty recent. Cars are a pretty recent thing. Somebody was saying that they were middle class when they're growing up in America, and to them owning a car was a luxury, right? Like having somebody, when you're middle class, even having a car was a luxury. Now everybody got a car, so that shows you that cars are being mass produced within the last 50, 60 years or so. So maybe that's how long it takes from the time that
Yeah.
these things start getting popularized, that's how long it takes for the effects to start being seen. And that's when all these big industries like Coca-Cola and all these things within the last 100 years start becoming more popular. So maybe it takes about 150 years to fuck the earth up, and we're at that time.
I guess it was. I guess maybe it was always happening, but all that shit that we as humans have done has made it a much faster process. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's probably why it's like happening at a rapid pace. Like, oh shit, it's about to be 2020, and now we're losing all this shit that's happening, and it's because of what we've been doing as a race. So that makes sense.
yeah, but I feel like the fact that technology evolved like 100 times faster than it has before, like, bro, we're communicating on these devices that you can see somebody's face from across the world. So that's a great thing, but it's like at what cost, Like what's the pollution that has to go into the earth to make it, you know what I'm saying? And we're
Right.
getting
Right.
shit, we can press a button and whatever we want comes to our doorstep. Like, yeah, that's great, but there's a consequence to that. So, those are the things that we don't think about, and it's gonna catch up to us eventually. Like everything has its consequence.
I just hope that I'm dead before it all blows up, bro. You know
That's
what I
what I
mean?
used to say when I was younger. Like real shit. When I was younger, I used to be like 8 or 9 reading about global warming, and I was like, you know what? It's 2020. Like it probably won't affect me by then. So, but no, real shit. Now that it's kind of here, but not really. I'm thinking the same shit. I'm like, I hope I don't got to deal with this shit. But yeah, and
That's
the
crazy.
next generation got it. They'll have some super technology to like filter the pollution out of the air or some shit, so they can go ahead and deal with that.
Yeah, right. I think that what's gonna happen is, um, what's the guy's name who finding Tesla? Elon Musk is gonna like find a way to get people to Mars, bro.
To
And
Mars.
then and they're gonna ship, yeah, and they're gonna ship us to Mars based on class. So if you upper class, top 1%, whatever, you get to Mars. Nigga, if you're on the bottom, nigga, you screwed. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to Mars.
Oh shit.
So that's what I think's gonna happen.
That sounds like the great beginning to a sci-fi movie, or episode of Black Mirror.
Or the 100, if you ever seen that.
I've seen some of it.
Some
Yeah.
of it. Okay. All right, let's get this show started, man. So what's our first topic for today? You want to talk about?
We can talk about Meek Mill. So as everybody knows, Meek Mill was in jail, and he came out, and now this nigga think he Martin Luther King, bro. Um, you got arrested for being on a dirt
Damn.
bike, and now you want to solve reforms, and you know what I'm saying, like start reforms and stop the violence and talk about PTSD and trauma. Don't get me wrong. I think that's a better topic than talking about your rollie and your girl got a fat ass and you dating Nicki Minaj, whatever the fuck he used to talk about before. I think his subject matter is 100 times better, which leads me to this question: how do you think his last album was compared to his previous work?
I think his last album was pretty dope in comparison to his last work because of the subject matter, right? So yes, I get it. He's not the ideal person to represent reform, right? But nonetheless, he's doing a positive thing, and so I think because his message in this album is positive, it's talking about his struggle and his past and how he got to where he is today, and I think that's allowing people who follow him to be able to get a message from him and not just like you said, my Rolex, my bitches, I'm popping a willie here and there. So I think the fact alone that he's spreading a positive message or at least talking about something that's important is a plus for me. And so I thought it was a good album. I love the production, the samples he used. I mean, yeah, I thought it was dope.
Yeah, the production was on point, bro. Like it's like the beats were really well curated. Like
Yeah.
whoever picked out the beats, bro, they did a good job. Especially I like Udos and Noodles. That's a pretty dope track with the samples. The intro, um, it's great that he's collabing with Drake again. And
That song was trash though. I'm not
yeah,
gonna
that
lie.
song was trash, and the song with Cardi was trash too.
I'm
Um,
happy you realized that. I told you Cardi was getting trash, bro.
I don't think it's Cardi. I think it's the whole song because he was
Yeah.
trash on that song. But Oodles and Noodles is definitely my favorite. Um, but yeah, man, I would encourage everybody to check out his interview on Breakfast Club where he talks about his mind state and how it was to be in jail, bro. Like Meek Mill has really grown as a person. Do I believe he's the best person to lead the revolution? No, but shit, anything helps at this point. So
Well,
I'll
let me
take
ask you
it.
this. Well, before I actually just want to point out that my two faves on the album was Championships and Cold Hearted too. I thought it was pretty dope songs on there too. But my question to you is, it's not, say it's not McMill, right? Who would you have to represent, or lead the revolution?
Shit, it could be J. Cole. It could be let me see.
Yeah, but
Kendrick Lamar. It could be
J.
anybody
Cole
that raps
and
about conscious
Kendrick,
shit.
but J. Cole and Kendrick, do you really think that they have those fans that McMill is reaching?
Nah,
If you
they
know what I
don't.
mean.
Nah, they
You know what I'm
don't.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Cole has a hardcore fan and K Dot does too. But really, like, do you really think that niggas in the hood are playing the new J. Cole? Probably not. Probably
Yeah.
not. But they're playing McMill though, and so I think he has that reach that probably a Cole or K Dot probably can't reach, or not as deep as McMill can. Which, you wouldn't think that, but it's true. I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So yeah, he's using his platform for that, and I guess he had a really bad experience where they tried to lock him up, and in that Breakfast Club interview, he talked about what it's like being in jail and some of the things, how it feels, the fact that it was a black judge that locked him up, and it was black cops that locked him up. But in that aspect, I don't agree with him. Like, just because somebody's black don't mean they gotta give you a pass. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, but you know what? I'm gonna stop you right there because I don't know where I got this from. I can't remember it, but like, okay, let's say you're a black person that wants to be a cop, right?
mm-hmm.
And you become a cop. Now, you start your job and you want to do good, but the police force, obviously is probably mostly white, it's Caucasian, and they have their beliefs as as a corporation, right? As a police station, a police system, and so eventually, as that black guy in the police force, over time, you're gonna start to adopt their belief and their system subconsciously because you want to prove to them that you belong, right? It's human nature. Like, we
Right.
all want to belong, right? So by you being a police officer, if they think that, hey, most black people, they're probably selling drugs, or they probably doing something illegal, or they're probably doing something that they should not be doing. So like, let's stop them more. You know what I'm saying? Just to check or whatnot, or do what we got to do. You as a black cop, over time, you're gonna be doing the same shit because you want to fit in and belong in that system, because that's human nature, and you want to prove to them that you are them, that you are a cop. And so I think, like, what he was saying is, he wasn't saying that, but I think as people of color, judges or cops, if you don't check yourself, you can adopt the system's belief without even knowing that you're doing that, because you're trying to like do your job to prove to the people that you're working for that you truly belong and that you're one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
And
I
so,
agree with. You don't have to be white to be a white supremacist. Like, you can be black and still hold white supremacist beliefs. So that is true. But I do think Meek Mill, whatever he was in jail for, I feel like he did it. Like,
bruh, he just popped a wheelie and broke his probation.
yeah, he
That's all he
broke his
did.
when you break your probation, you liable to be back in jail because you knew
Bruh,
what you was
5 years
doing.
though. 5 years.
Hey, I don't
Come
know.
on.
I don't know.
Come
But
on, man.
and he broke it on multiple occasions. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was like out doing shows, flying out everywhere, knowing damn well he on probation and couldn't leave his house. So, yeah, bro. I think not saying that 5 years was deserved, but I'm saying like he had to be held accountable somehow. Because and I think, imagine if there was no cops, bro, and these rappers would get big and do whatever they want. I think it's good that there's a system that can check people. I think that's what they wanted to do. I feel like they wanted to teach Meek Mill a lesson and be like, yo, you're still human, you're still a person, you're not above the law, and that's exactly what they wanted to do. I don't think it's right for them to do that, but I feel like that was the intent behind it.
Bro, do you really think? And what's that one white dude who's a rapper, Macklemore? Do you think if Macklemore broke his probation, if he was in probation, that he would get the same exact result from the same judge or the same system?
I don't know. I really don't.
Bruh, I think not. And so I'm not saying that you're wrong. Like, hey, you break the law, I get it. But I feel like the judgment or the punishment should be the same across the board for breaking your probation. So I feel like if you would give 5 years to like a Macklemore, then sure. But we all know that does not happen. If Mick Mill gets 5 years for doing that, I guarantee you a Macklemore will probably get like, I don't know, 5 months or even less.
Or house arrest, yeah.
Or house arrest. So I think that's my issue, is that it's not. Well, obviously it's not a fair system, but if we're gonna say, hey, you break this law, you do the time or whatever you want to call it, it should be across the board. and it seems to be based on your skin tone. You know what I'm saying? You do same crime, but if you're white, you get no time or less time or house arrest or, you know what I'm saying, a slap on the wrist. But if you're black or Latino, then you get 5-7 years. Like, nigga, that makes no sense.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the positive in this. Meek Mill has really grown as a person, bro. Like he really has. When you watch that interview, let me know because you can tell he's not really. Meek Mill was petty, bro. Meek Mill was acting like a little boy, and 2016, whatever year that was, that he was beefing with Drake and dealing with Nicki Minaj. Meek Mill was that's the reason why he took so many L's because he fell out of the public's favor. You feel me? Like he couldn't stand still. Like he was just looking for attention, doing all kinds of shit, getting Safari jumped, like all those things, bro. Like all these things were gonna catch up to him. I think it was his karma, whether it was delivered by a crooked judge, a crooked cop, whoever it was, whether it wasn't meant to be. I think Meek Mill got what his karma, whatever he had coming to him, he got it, and now he's grown from it, and that's why he was able to put out a fire album. So, hey, I think that's what happened.
I agree. I just hope that he doesn't go back to his old ways of, you know, doing things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope it's not like a phase to where like, okay, yeah, this is the new Meek Mill, blah blah blah. He's doing reform, talking positive shit, and then his next album is talking about, you know, hoes, bitches, Rolex. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if this is not a permanent thing, then it makes everything looks bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I maybe he got a publicist. When I was watching the Breakfast Club interview, there was a part of the interview that made me believe that he got a publicist and he's writing out this wave of social activism. So maybe he got a publicist that's like, all right, yo, go on CNN, talk about this. I'm gonna book you on here. This is what you say. You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of makes me wonder too, like how much of it is genuine and how much of it is just him trying to sell an album. So I don't know, but like I said, I think we're so desperate for voices from celebrities to speak on shit that matters that we'll take anybody right now. So yeah.
I mean, that's true. Yeah. I mean, it could be him, you know, just saying, hey, this is a good wave. Let me just write it to make that money. And that would be very unfortunate, you know, but only time will tell. And so we'll see if the next album or as, you know, he makes new music, if it's the same type of vibe, you know, so.
Yeah, let's see. But all I know is when you speak from the heart, people can tell. You know what I'm saying? Like the acclaim for this album is better than his last mixtapes and projects because he's speaking from the heart. And his interviews are better too because you can tell like this is some real shit. I feel like I'm tired of like hearing about the same shit from every rapper all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's good that somebody who you're not expecting to switch it up actually does. And then when you think about it, he's actually been like putting socially conscious songs out there here and there on certain albums. So, but now he did it in a more noticeable way. So shout out to him. Anything else?
No, I'm good. What's next, bro?
Up next is whole Kevin Hart not hosting the Oscars. I know it happened, I think, last week. Or is it the Grammys? I don't know. It's
the Oscars. Some kind of white people.
Some white people award shit. So basically, for anybody that doesn't know, he that just reminded me of DJ Envy. For the people out there that don't know.
Oh shit.
So yeah, Kevin Hart was supposed to host an award show. And then a white person on Twitter went ahead and found his old tweets from 2009 from when he was talking about if his son was gay and if he's not even gay, he said if he found his son playing with a dollhouse, he would break it over his son's head. LOL. And I was like, damn, like that shit's not funny. Like he would be putting LOL behind a bunch of shit. So basically, the guy did a search for gay and homo through Kevin Hart's old Twitter feed. And all the tweets that he found, he screenshotted, and that shit went viral. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, here are my thoughts on that. I actually am on Kevin Hart's side for the simple fact that, you know, he had addressed this a long time ago, and so I agree that he doesn't have to re-apologize again.
When did he address it? I missed that.
I mean, it was old. There were old tweets, so I don't remember exactly when, but he said he did. So I'm pretty sure he wouldn't lie about it, right? And just like he said, hey, if you can go and find those old tweets, you can probably go and find his apologies, right, in the media form. So he said one thing that I think people kind of like just missed or just did not pay attention to, that he said that people grow and evolve over time. And it's true. So you can expect people's old tweets or what they said in the past to define who they are today. You know what I'm saying? So I commend him for saying, "Hey, I'm not that same person. I've already apologized for this in the media before. I'm not gonna keep doing it over and over again because I've evolved as a person." So I think people are missing that point. I'm like, yo, like I'm not the same guy I was 5 years ago. That's people evolve, and so you can't expect him to still, or have those views in 2018. And that's how I feel about it.
I think just like I was saying about Meek Mill's karma, I feel like that's Kevin Hart's karma, bro. I think I don't know. I don't feel bad for him because it's not like Kevin Hart is broke, so it's not like him not doing this is gonna affect his career in any kind of way or stop his success. So I really don't feel bad. Like, oh my God, like he's missing out on this opportunity once in a lifetime. Like, I feel like if he said it in the past, if you said something in the past, I never saw the apology. Um, I wouldn't mind one more apology. It's not gonna kill him. That's how I see it. Like, yeah, I get that you apologize multiple times. Like, one more time, nigga, is you trying to host the damn Oscars or Grammys or not? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if this really meant a lot to you, you would suck it up and apologize. And if you don't apologize, then it really doesn't mean a lot to you. So, I think it's his karma. So it's shit that you say, it can follow you for years. Like everything that you put out on social media, that shit can follow you for years. And you just gotta like suck it up and be accountable for it. And if you don't, then shit, you're choosing to miss out on those opportunities. But yeah, and even I feel like even shit that people say are jokes and stuff like that, like bro, like there's always an ounce of truth behind everything. Like even if you're joking, like saying you're gonna smash a dollhouse over your son's head, that I don't get how that's supposed to be funny at all. Like I get that people were young and it was 10 years ago and stuff like that, but I'm like, it's like damn, you know what I'm saying? But on the opposite side of that, I feel like every time a black celebrity gets somewhere, some white person always like pulls the fucking receipts, yo. Like they be so ready with the detective work, bro. Whether it's TMZ, whether it's somebody online that's pulling up your tweets, black celebrities have to be really careful with how they move in the world.
That is true. I mean, it's unfortunate, but do you agree that, you know, you said hold him accountable, but do you agree that he's not to the same person he was 10 years ago?
I agree with that. And if he's not, I would have been like, I said some things, or it still sounds like an apology. It kind of feels like his ego is in the way. I really do feel like he's thinking with his ego.
It's pride, bro. But if you think about it, like, how would you feel if you're in that situation? I mean, I get both sides because honestly, if I was him, nigga, I'm probably gonna apologize because it's the Oscars. It's one of the bigger stages, and it's something I wanted to do for a long time. So I would suck it up. But your ego is probably saying, "Yo, like this is just 10 years ago, like 10 years, dog.
Yeah.
You know how many shit, you know how many stuff happens in your mind in your life in 10 years? A lot.
Yeah.
So
I would be like, this is some bullshit. But do I want this check or not? Maybe Kevin is in the place where he doesn't need that money and he doesn't care about the fame. Like, so that's why I'm saying, if you're rich enough to not care about whether you host the Oscars or not, then good for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, shout outs to you for being in that position. But if it was me and I needed that or whatever, I would have still owned it. Okay, here's what I would have said. I said this 10 years ago. That was not okay. I'm a different person now. I would have shown some stats about, about LGBTQ people that get killed yearly and say, jokes aren't just jokes at the end of the day. Some shit like that. Boom, a tweet. Bam, on my way to the Oscars. Everybody forgot about it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he made this a bigger deal than it had to be by him not apologizing. Because America loves a good apology, bro. We talk about this all the time.
So you're saying she should made a little video and just start crying like, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I've changed so much. Get that money and then come back and be like, yeah, nah, I took it back. What's up, niggas? I got my check. I took it back. I didn't mean none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Fuck y'all niggas.
That would be funny because he would have scared America, bro. Like,
yeah. But I bet you if that was Mike Epps, he would have apologized quick, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because he need that money.
Yeah, Mike Epps definitely need that. You can tell he's bitter about not getting money and not getting recognition. So, hell yeah, Mike Epps would have apologized. Like Lil Duval got flamed for his comments on The Breakfast Club. I don't know if he ever apologized, but I know Charlamagne the God apologized. So.
Yeah, and I guess you're right. I think, if you look at it from, his financials, if he did not apologize, obviously he didn't. He doesn't need the money. You know what I'm saying? It was more of like an accolade. Hey, I did the Oscars. But that money that he's going to make, he doesn't need it, obviously. But any other broke comedian would apologize, So if I had that much money to not apologize, fuck it. I wouldn't, based on principle. But if I was like a Mike Epps level type and I'm trying to get back in the game, then hell yeah, I'm going to apologize. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, because you can tell he doesn't feel extremely remorseful about it. He's basically just annoyed, like, why y'all bring this shit up again? I've
yeah,
apologized multiple times. Like, what more do you want from me? Tyrese type shit, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's his karma. Regardless of how long he said it, it was wrong. It should be allowed to haunt him 15 years, 20 years on his deathbed. Like,
oh my god,
if he's dying and the nurse at the hospital sees him and like pulls up the tweets and like that's the last thing he sees before she disconnects the oxygen,
oh
I
my
don't give a
god,
fuck.
this nigga. But no, but let me ask you though, do you think that the Oscars are gonna pull like a crazy thing and have him come out on stage to host last
Nah, the
minute?
Oscars don't want to ruin their image like that. That's why they're forcing him to apologize, because the Oscars know that in this age, bro, like you got to be politically correct, and they wouldn't, people won't boycott the Oscars for being racist or for all the rapes and stuff like that that the people in power in Hollywood do. But they know that if you say something homophobic, they know that that could lead to their demise and to being canceled, and they don't want that. The Oscars know exactly who to play with and who to not play with.
Because they haven't even named another host, so I feel like they're having a hard time finding somebody else to host the Oscars. But who knows?
There's multiple broke black comedians that are relatively famous that they can get to host this shit.
Do you know any other black comics that they get to host? Some people are gonna go on Twitter and search gay stuff or whatever stuff and make it, make it go viral.
This is why I always say I don't want to be. If I ever had the chance, I wouldn't want to be famous. I just want the money, bro. Like I just want the checks. I don't want people knowing my name, pulling shit up that I did, because you know what I'm saying. Like that shit it's too much pressure to be under the spotlight.
I would, if I was famous, I would do it, but I would be off Twitter. I would be off Instagram. I wouldn't have any kind of social media accounts. I would just be like the type that like an Eddie Murphy. He's not on social media, but he's Eddie Murphy. So I would try to be so big that I transcend the Twitters and the Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Like some artists are so big that they don't need to be online. They come out on a TV show or like a freaking a late night show, and that's it. Everybody knows they go crazy. TMZ sees them, they go crazy. It's like you have to be so big that you don't even need to be on Twitter and still be relevant. Like that's very few people who could do that, And I feel like that's what I'd want to do if I was famous. Like just be so big that I don't even need that shit, bro. I can just be big, just being me in real life. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, but on your way there, you kind of need a Twitter on your way to like that fame at the top. Nowadays, like back in the days, Eddie Murphy didn't need a Twitter to be Eddie Murphy, but nowadays, to get there, you kind of need a Twitter to get to the top. You know what I'm saying? To promote your shit and all of that. So you kind of have to be on there for business, but maybe not tweet anything personal. But even still, even if you're not on social media, people will find out shit about your life. Like, how they found out Eddie Murphy was sleeping with this trans woman, multiple times.
Was that confirmed? Was that an alleged?
Bro, yeah. I don't know if it was before. I was pretty young back then, but I'm 100% sure that was true. But
oh god.
But yeah, like that's Kevin Hart's karma, bro. I think it should follow him around. I think he should apologize for it until people feel like he shouldn't have to anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Which is never. If it didn't take 10 years, you think there's gonna be a time limit on this thing, bro? Like you said, it's gonna be on his deathbed, bro.
But when did he? I really missed that apology. Like I really missed it. Maybe he apologized for it when he was less famous.
Yeah,
but now that you're Oscar famous, you gotta apologize. And then when you get to be like, I don't know, some other shit, when he running for president, he gotta apologize for that because there's different levels, bro. And you gotta apologize at every level.
Bro, this is so stupid, bro. I feel like we're living in like a fake world, bro. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But anyways,
yeah, I mean, we're living in a Twitter world where everything is a record, bro. Like, I don't know if you don't feel whatever you're tweeting, if you can't repeat that in a court of law or repeat it in front of a crowd of people, don't type it. That's my advice to anybody who's on the internet right now. That's the only thing, because people love to pull up tweets of when you're homophobic, when you were sexist, or when you were whatever. It's just not worth it, bro. But yeah, I feel like Kevin Hart, my only issue with this is that Kevin Hart is letting his ego affect us. You know what I'm saying? Like if you really felt sorry, or if you really wanted this Oscars money, you would have done whatever you had to do to get it.
Or just lie, just to a fake apology.
Yeah, because you think the Oscars really care about gay people, bro, or the Grammys, whatever it is. They don't care about none of that shit.
They don't.
They just don't want to get
They just
canceled.
care about the image.
Yeah, they just don't want to get boycotted. So they're like, all right, if you getting into some mess, we don't want to be affiliated with that shit. Not that they care. So at the end of the day, like nobody really, truly, genuinely feels like what they're doing is right. They're just doing it because they got to do it. Except Kevin Hart, who's looking out for his ego. So, hey,
Yeah.
it's not like he's hurting. So I don't feel bad.
Oh yeah, no, I'm off this. I think he'll put out a special, maybe next year, and then it'll be all good. So, yeah, I think it's fine. It's not a big deal right now.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about the spin this whole thing on the line about the king of R&B, this guy named Jacquees, who I've heard the name, I heard about him. I know he does a lot of covers, but he doesn't really have any popping songs that are original.
Yo,
but
that nigga sound like a goat. I'm sorry to jump the gun, but he sounds like a goat.
Like a goat? Oh,
yeah,
my God. So
on.
he came out and said, I'm the goat the king of R&B of this generation. And then the internet just exploded. You had guys, from the 90s, 2000s, from R. Kelly to, Usher to, Bobby Valentino's coming out. And so what do you think about this whole thing? Who's your king of R&B? Who do you think should be the king for a new generation? And, yeah. Thoughts?
First of all, nobody knows who Jacquees is, or how to pronounce his name. So I really don't understand how he feels comfortable making that claim. And then I mean, it depends on what year level, like, you know what I'm saying, like what time frame we're talking about. We're talking about the king of R&B of all times, or the current king of R&B, or like.
Nah, I think like from like the 2000s and up. Let's say like or 1 or 2, like from those times to like now. So like the last what was that, 20 years? Like 18 years, I guess.
Yo, the king of R&B for me is, and I was looking online at all the tweets and shit, and I didn't see nobody mention this guy. For me, it's Maxwell, bro.
Yeah, but I don't think he qualifies because he did songs in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
that's for me. Anything after that, you probably not gonna like this, but the current king of R&B for me is Drake.
Nah, bro, come on, let's be for real. No, for real. For Drake is not in this conversation. Like Drake doesn't do R&B. He does pop. It's kind of like The Weeknd's not R&B. You know what I mean? He does like a whole different kind of sub genre. You know what I mean? So I think for me, I have a weird one.
Who is it?
And it's I'm not sure if I'm still going back and forth in my head, but people are saying like Chris Brown and Trey Songz. I've heard Trey Songz, Chris Brown. There was one other person that he said in this new generation, but I really fuck with Neo, bro. I feel like Neo like never got his shine, and so I think Neo is up there at least, because I think Chris Brown to me is more popish. Yeah, when I think of R&B, I'm not thinking Chris Brown. That shit sounds popish to me. Play any Neo songs, nigga. It's about love. It has that old school feeling to it. It's R&B. You know what I'm saying? Chris Brown was doing pop shit, bro. I cannot put Chris Brown in a pure sense of the world, like in a pure R&B world. I don't see him as a pure R&B artist. I just can't. I don't see it. I just can't.
Yeah, so. I just can't relate to a lot of Chris Brown's music, bro. Like I feel like he tries to, like, I've never listened to, well, there's a couple when he first came out, like Excuse Me Miss and
Pop.
Nah, that's not pop. That was a little
pop,
bit
bro.
R&B, bro.
I mean, there's a little R&B, but you could feel the undertone of the pop sound, right? Or am I making that up?
No, you really can. You can. It was made to get radio play and all that shit. It's not, and it did. You know how in the 90s niggas used to be in the desert and shit, and like just and all white with their boys behind them and just singing about some shit, like, and you never been in love, but you can kind of feel that shit, like you can feel what they're talking about. That's not what you get from when you listen to a Chris Brown song. So I feel you on that. But nah, yeah, Chris Brown, nah, I don't. He's a great dancer though. I'll never take that away from him.
I kind of, I would even put him in like as a mini MJ type. You know what I'm saying? Because like he's a performer, he does popish songs, so I really can't. And then somebody said Trey Songz. I'm like, I don't even see Trey Songz as a R&B, like in a pure sense of the world, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I feel like Trey Songz is just crying, bro. Like he's a crier. That's all I see him as. I don't think he has like. I don't know. Like he's never really made anything that stood out to me, and all he does in his videos is cry. I don't really see it for Trey Songz.
So I don't know. I got Neo, man. People are not saying that, and I just feel like when you think of R&B, if you look at what R&B is, there's nothing pop about Neo at all. Like at least in the old times, So um, that's why
It's kind of sad that there's no more R&B, bro. Is R&B dead? I know everybody's talking about hip hop dying, but shit, nobody looks at R&B to see that that shit died. You know what I'm saying?
it's definitely dead. Like I said, I only know one artist, which I got it from you, I think, and he's the only one that I think is doing R&B stuff right now
Who
that
is
I
it?
like. Daniel Caesar.
Oh yeah, Daniel Caesar. That's a good one. Yeah.
I don't know anybody else. I mean, I'm sure that I feel like they're more underground, But besides him, I can't think of anyone that does like pure, like no pop, no fucking, upbeat type, top 40 type beats. You know what I mean? I can't think of anybody else. So if you know of any out there, shit, let me know. Cause I'm trying to find some good R&B. I'm playing all like Jagged Edge, Anthony Hamilton, Carl Thomas. I'm playing those guys.
Oh shit, Anthony Hamilton. That's an honorable mention, bro.
Yeah, Anthony Hamilton. There's another one too. I can't think of his name, but to me, those are like R&B.
But you know what? Don't sleep on my guy Maxwell, bro. Maxwell, man.
I like Maxwell. I fuck with Maxwell, but there's only like a couple songs I like from Maxwell. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even lately, like songs like "Pretty Wings," "Fistful of Tears," "Fire We Make" with Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
Even lately in the 2000s, he's dropped some good songs. So yeah, Maxwell's pretty. I think for me, if we're looking at
if we look at like the whole spectrum, like
the whole spectrum, right?
Yeah,
Not just recently.
Right.
Marvin Gaye's pretty dope too, bro. Like if we're going way back, bro, way
back. That's way back, bro. That's like
way back, bro. I was listening to A House Is Not a Home the other day, and bro, that shit gave me feels. I feel like, yeah, let's talk about what qualifies somebody as like R&B. I think it's somebody that makes you feel something. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why Chris Brown doesn't qualify. Like you could bop along, you could, you know what I'm saying, like move your head to Chris Brown, but it's not like you feel it in your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel that heartache or whatever the fuck the person's talking about. You don't really feel that with Chris Brown. And I don't know about. I know Neo has some really good topics, but I don't know, for some reason I just could never connect with Neo, bro. I don't know what it was.
Bro, I don't know what it is, but I always did, bro. Every time I listened to a song, I felt like I was like, I don't know, I should got a reaction out of me. I was like, oh shit, this is some good ass shit. So, no, Neo for me is up there. He's probably in my top 5, honestly, or of the new generation or whatnot, So
what about Usher, bro?
Oh yeah, Usher is definitely up there. Usher is probably for our generation, bro. Like
he's got to be the king.
He's got to be the king because, I've heard R. Kelly. Obviously, R. Kelly is number 1 in the whole spectrum. But if you're looking for like our generation, nigga, yeah, it's definitely Usher because you got Confessions, you got all the classics he made, bro. Yeah, he's definitely number 1 from the king's perspective.
I'm mad that Usher fell off though. Like he should have kept the king status from the early 2000s. I know it's way easier said than done because Usher became really pop, like really pop.
But
to
honestly,
the point it got bad.
But you know what though? Now that I think about it, he couldn't. Cause think about it, bro. He stayed like Usher. He stayed doing the same kind of stuff. The R&B market has died, bro. Who's buying R&B stuff anymore? You know what I mean? That's
true. So, that's what Tank was complaining about on the Breakfast Club. He said that the R&B is dead, but nah, bro. I feel like R&B is one of those things where I feel like people just aren't. I don't really know how to put it. I feel like if somebody really gives it a good effort, people will buy it. Like because not everybody's jamming to "Boot Up" by LMA. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people were jamming to Daniel Caesar. And here and there, you'll get like a one-hit wonder. So if there's somebody that was really dedicated to it and wasn't scared to and wasn't worried about album sales and all that shit and really created shit from their heart, we could see some better R&B music.
I mean, like, what do you think Daniel Caesar has caught such a following like lately?
Because I believe he's singing from the heart and he's not really worried about record sales and all that shit. I think he's just making good music. But the difference with Usher is that he feels like he's a legend. He has a status. This album got to be bigger than the next one. He's got to sell out arenas worldwide. Like that pressure. You can't produce shit from the heart with that kind of pressure on. Yeah. That's why we need somebody brand new to be the king of R&B. But it's not Jacquees or whatever the fuck his name is.
No, it's not Jacquees, bro. And as far as Usher, he could never put out an album that would be better than Confessions. Nah, you know what I'm saying? That's impossible.
Yeah,
you can't. So I get it, But yeah, I think you're right. I think you made a good point. For our generation, it's definitely Usher. You know what I mean? I think Usher is our R. Kelly in that sense. You know what I mean? As far as that status
Yeah.
for R&B. So
Yeah, but that I can't believe that there hasn't been anybody since then that could be like, oh shit, that person. You know what I'm saying? Because Usher, that was 18 years ago, 18, 15 years ago when Usher started popping. So
yeah.
I think it's time that we get a new person.
Well, I'm surprised Mr. Caesar didn't come out to say anything because I feel like it's him or it should be him.
But the thing is, that's not his personality. That's not his style. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like,
that's
he's
true.
very low key and laid back and underground, which, he would not be in a Twitter before. I can't see that.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you solved it right there. We have our king for the generation, bro. It's Usher.
Yeah.
So,
Real quick and hot shit. Greenleaf. Shout out to Oprah for creating Greenleaf. Even though there's some controversy about the fact that she stole the script for somebody else, I don't know where it came from, but it's pretty awesome. It's pretty interesting to me to learn about the Black church, um, to see how it is. I was talking to somebody, and that person is actually their father or their mother owns a church, right? So they're like, I was like, oh, I guess their mother needed something, and that person was like, oh, you know what? I'll have just their staff can get it. I was like, what you mean the staff? And they're like, yeah, there's in church in the Black church, there's a whole staff of people. Like, it's not just the church that you go in on Sundays and worship, bro. It's like a whole organization. It's like a fucking company, bro. And that's what I'm learning while I'm watching Greenleaf. Like, there's staffs, there's director of outreach, there's all kinds of shit. There's secretaries. Like, that shit is a full-time job to be in the church, which to me is a little bit problematic because, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if you have a fallout in the church and now you're losing your job and you can't go to church on Sunday, so you out of a community. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
as far as the church having a staff that's like a full on staff.
Yeah, bro. Like, this shit is a company. Like, I really didn't expect the church to be a company. And if this thing is a company and the pastor is pretty much the CEO, and there's a board of deacons that are like the board of trustees that can revoke the CEO say. I'm like, damn, this shit is intricate. It's interesting. I didn't know this shit was happening because I don't be in church like that. So especially the Black church. So that was really interesting to me, and it's interesting, but I also don't know how I feel about it.
I mean, so I mean that's why I stopped going to church. You know what I mean? Like I'll go every now and then if I feel like I'm about to just go to hell. You know what I'm saying? Like
Every once in a while, when I feel like I'm
yeah,
about to go to hell,
honestly, I'll be like,
go.
yeah, you know what? I just gotta go. But I don't go to I go to like a mixed church or whatnot. But I think I was telling you this a while ago. Like I feel like people who go to church be like what's it called? Like church wave or church like church grind or
Yeah. Church
I
flow.
forgot church flow. And I be on my Instagram, Facebook, where I be seeing mad pictures. You know what I'm saying? Church flow, church that, church this. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here in my church, and then I was with the same guys in the club this Saturday night. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So it's like it's become part of a like a process. It's part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? You go out Saturday night, you go to church Sunday. The pastor preaches, he gets the money, and then he's driving a Bentley. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I think it is a business. It's a full on business, and people are so blind to it that they are just making the pastors and the staff, more money, and they're still broke. You feel me? And so I think it's a big issue, and that's why I don't really go anymore.
Yeah.
Because how are you in church, bro? I know people who's been going to church since I was like 9, 10 years old, right? And they were like fucking broke. Nigga, I'm about to be fucking 28 and you still
You
broke
still
going to the
broke,
same
my
church.
nigga,
What
and
did you
giving money
learn?
every Sunday. Like,
Yeah.
what?
What did you learn from back then to now that you still going giving money but you haven't made any progress in your life? So I feel like there's a problem here and there's just a bunch of blind sheeps just following the master, right? And making him more money. So yeah, bro, it's definitely business. So
Yeah, and
I
there's a
don't
lot of
give
power
money.
in that. I'm like, how do you have a staff? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do to have a staff? Or you're not Steve Jobs. You're not running a company. Like, I guess you are running a company, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not Steve Jobs. You're not the CEO of a hospital, of a firm. Like, why do you have a staff that's out here running your errands? Like, when my friend was telling me that, I was like, bro, how the fuck do you have this? Your dad is a pastor, and you have people picking up his laundry, bro. that's a little bit out of hand. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's not okay.
Nah, it's not, bro. And it's just do you think that there's a church today that exists that is a church as it was in the Bible or even close to it?
I'm sure. I'm sure somewhere.
Bruh,
I'm
where?
there's always.
Where?
I don't know, bro. I
Nah,
nowhere I
bruh.
know. But it's
Let me know. Let me know, because I'll go to it. Because I guarantee you, every church I've been to, bro, it always feels like it's a fucking business. I'm sorry, but it's fucking true. Like it always seems like, you know, they're trying to just get you to give more money to the church. They're trying to expand or put another building up for what? They're always trying to like do some kind of project to make the parking lot bigger. I'm like, bro, like it's bro. Am I lying? I'm not making this shit, bro.
Heard that before.
It's always, yeah, we need to expand the parking lot. Oh, we need a daycare. Oh, we're gonna build a high school now. Like, what the fuck are you doing? We're gonna build a, bro. It's always a fucking
some
project.
Construction going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're fucking building an empire, bro. And it's not. I don't even think it should be called church anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it should be called an empire, bro. It's a I don't know, but yeah, but you know why I think that is because it's in a building. I feel like all churches, hear me out now. All churches should be held in a park, somewhere free of cost. Because if you're in a building, you're gonna feel like rent's got to be due, and then you're gonna pressure people to give money. And when they give anything over, you're gonna keep it for yourself, and that's gonna entice you to sin, bro. Like, church should not be affiliated with money at all. Like, all church, it should be illegal to give money in church, and it should be held somewhere free in the public, like in a park.
I agree to an extent. As far as the money thing, I feel like it should be optional. I feel like you shouldn't pass the basket around the pew. I think that's fucking weird. I think you should just have the basket somewhere in the church, and it's just optional. If you want to give, you can put it in there whenever you want, but it shouldn't be like a time, okay, now we're about to pass the basket around, and then the pastor's like, I know there's someone in here that God has blessed you. He's blessed you, and if you just give $2,000 today, you know, you're gonna get the next promotion. It's like, no, you know what I mean? I'm not doing that. And he'd be like, well, we're not leaving here until that person puts in that $2,000 in the basket. Like, that shit happens, bro.
And he would catch me on a Sunday when I'm really hungry, and I'll be like, yes, the fuck I am.
And so I feel like, to your point, I think people think that church is the building. I feel like, you know, church is not the building, but church is wherever you are, nigga. Like, this could be church right here, just me and you. Like, wherever you are and you are of the same mindset and you in the person of the Lord, that's church. So going to that building, it doesn't mean shit, but no one gets that.
It really doesn't.
It could be at a park, somebody's house.
That's why I think all church should be in a park, bro. It should be somewhere public and free, because if the pastor has rent to pay, he can't really focus on the word, bro, because you're looking at attendance. You're like, all right, it's 10 people in here. If 10 people give $10 each, it'll be 100. That'll get me closer to paying rent. Like, bro, you not focus on the word, and there's no way you can praise God in that situation, bro. I really don't think. I think that's what forces people to become. It forces these pastors to become businessmen, and it's not right.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, it forces them. I get your point, but it's also greed too, bro. Like, those pastors wanna, you know what I'm saying? They run it as a business because they want to make that money. A lot of, like, Joel Osteen. There's the black guy who has the private jet. I forgot his name. I mean, a lot of them are doing it because they want to be able to be rich, get rich, you know. So I think it's, when you give people power, bro, it changes them, you know what I mean? And being a pastor, you have a lot of power, and so that's what happens, bro. It corrupts you.
Yeah, exactly. With the power comes the greed, right? With the power comes all the abuse, like all the sexual abuse, all the like all kinds of shit, bro. All kinds of shady shit with power. So yeah, check out Greenleaf if you haven't. It's a really good show by Oprah, and it's on Netflix, and it's 2 seasons on Netflix. So yeah, it's plenty of episodes for everybody to watch.
Man, now you got me riled up, bro, about this damn church thing, bro. God damn it. All right. So hot shit. I want to keep this short, but I just learned of a new way to memorize things, or just like memorize things in general. And it's called a mind palace. I don't know if you heard about it before.
Oh yeah, I think I heard about it, but yeah.
You have? Oh shit, that's crazy. So I just found out about it today, bro, and my mind is fucking blown. And I wish I knew this when I was in college. But I'm gonna keep it short. It's very long. I'm gonna keep it short. But pretty much, the process is, you know, to build a mind palace. Let's say you go to a room in your house, you open the door, and then in your mind you go around the room clockwise and you find objects, big objects like a bed, a nightstand, a couch, and you go clockwise and you name them. So you pick 5 things. So it could be a nightstand, a mirror, a bed, a couch, or whatnot. And then what you do, like when you want to memorize something, right? You associate that thing with like one of the numbers. So like those things in your room essentially become a folder or file cabinet. So if I want to remember, let's say, I want to remember a cereal box, right? Cereal brand that I want to remember. So I could say I'm gonna put that cereal box on my nightstand. So I'm gonna visualize the cereal box on my nightstand. So now when I go to the store, I'm trying to figure out, like what was that one brand that I like for cereal? As soon as I say that, I already close my eyes because I know exactly where my nightstand is in my house. So as soon as I close my eyes, I'm already seeing a cereal box on top of the nightstand with the brand that I had in my head. And so now it's like you can pretty much do like your whole house, and then each item is like a file, a file cabinet, and you can associate things you want to remember, like credit card numbers, birthdays, things at your job, like any kind of tests, and you associate those things, and then it's amazing, bro. It's really deep, and so I don't want to go too much into it, but I've been using it, and my mind is just going crazy right now. But that's some hot shit. So if you want to look into it, it's called Mind Palace. Just go online, look it up, and there's mad books on it. There's mad podcasts. There's a lot of information, and
How'd you find out about it?
so I'm giving a speech. I joined a club called Toastmasters recently. Um, where you pretty much improve on your public speaking. So I'm doing a speech next month, and so I was just trying to do some research on like speech preparation because it's been a while since I've done speeches. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do some research on it, and so I'm trying to figure out the best way to do my outline to memorize it, but not so that way I don't seem like I'm a freaking robot. You know what I mean? So, um, I I came across that you're supposed to visualize your speech. So like if you do that, then when you're speaking, like your mind retains things better with pictures. And so if you can visualize your speech and visualize what you're saying, it'll come more naturally. And somehow the internet, bro, I went into a deep hole and then found this whole thing about building a mind palace. I'm like, oh shit, that sounds interesting. And it's like fucking super old. It's like from the 1800s. And then like all these people have been using it for so long. I'm like, why didn't I know about this shit, bro? Like, and it's not taught in schools. And it's like, you know how many stuff I could have accomplished in schools if I knew how to like associate things with my memory in a visual way. Like it would have been fucking amazing. But all these things that you think you would learn in high school or as a young kid, you don't fucking know, and it's like out there. And so I was like, oh shit. So then I tried it, and it was fucking amazing, bro. I was like, it gets so deep though. So I'm trying to get more into it. If you ever watched the movie Inception, it's kind of like that in a way when he had like the object in his hand,
Yeah.
and then he had to associate where he was at all times with that object. Like he had to know like where it was, and he could go deep into the mind. And so it's I don't know, bro. I don't want to keep going into a circle, but if you into like memory stuff or you think it sounds interesting, just look up Mind Palace, and it'll take you to pretty cool stuff out there. So that's my hot shit right now. Yeah.
So, any last words before we wrap up the podcast?
We should be doing another episode next week, I believe. But if that doesn't happen, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah,
Happy Kwanzaa.
don't kill nobody. You know what I'm saying? Kwanzaa. What else did I miss? Happy New Year, all that shit. So, but I'm pretty sure that we're gonna have another episode, one more before the year's over, and then yeah. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, same thing you said, bro. Stay safe, stay blessed. Happy holidays. Start the new year fresh with new goals and shit. So that's it. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch up with y'all next time.
Peace.